Hello and namaste. This is Neeraj here once again. Welcome back to my channel, Financial Market Analysis Twist by Neeraj Shah. And also Happy Diwali, Nutan Varsha Abhinandan, Sal Mubarak to all viewers. And may pray for the sanity in the world and sanity in the market. That's most important, because the way things are happening in last 1 year or say 2 years, so let's pray for the sanity all over in the world and in the market. So in today's video I would just like to discuss the developments, what has happened in last 1 week during the Diwali holidays, and because it was a holiday time in India and also in Russia it was holiday, it was Day of Unity. So kind of what has happened and what is the implications as usual. So in today's video, let's discuss without wasting much time. And so the major development which has happened over the what do you call a week during this Diwalis or whatever the holidays is that infrastructure bill, or that kind of a bill in USA which was $1 trillion bill, which as per that, under the bill the government, USA government will spend this money on that revival of infrastructure, rebuilding of all these roads, railways, bridges, gas terminals, and overall infrastructure they will spend. So that is a way to boost the economy or the development and also the job creation and revival of the economy, in a way to spend, that major spending basically. So that is it has been passed by this Congress or the Senate, and now it's only awaiting the I think signature of the USA President Joe Biden, and once it is done, it's a matter of time only that it will be done and it will come into force. So what is so great, or what is so good or bad about this particular infrastructure bill? The first of all, that it is a toned down, so that way it is a better compared to, it's much better compared to what was the original envisaged plan of infrastructure spending was $3 trillion about, social spending, I would say. And now because of this objections from Republicans and from the other even Democrats also, the sane Democrats who understand business, who understand the economics, they say that it was the objection that it is not, we can't just throw money like this way without the actual accruals. So it is toned down to $1 trillion bill. But the biggest implication can be that you see, this world over, you need to understand in last 1 year or so, what has the trend happened post COVID. The world has developed into a most of a leftist kind of an agenda has gripped the world. You look into any of the places, any of the countries, it is more of this kind of, this leftist agenda, where so-called welfare or the social welfare, it's not bad. Social welfare is not bad, but it should not be at the cost of, it should not be robbing Peter to feed Tom. So, that kind of thing. It should not be at the cost of somebody else. So one should not be deprived to feed to the others, or it should not be illegally taken over from others and distributed to the people. So there has to be a justification, or even because if you too much increase taxation, definitely that those people, taxpayers, they will feel the heat, and they will stop spending, or they will find another innovative ways to reduce tax, or they will migrate to the countries where there are tax rates are low. So that way, in a way, overall, in the end result is that you end up getting less money, less tax, as compared to when it was the tax rates were normal, or what you call that justifiable tax rates, because extremity of anything is dangerous for the for any situation. In the same way, this kind of a leftist agenda, in that leftist agenda only you see that Joe Biden won the presidency and came, since the time it has come into the power, you see that the kind of US getting into this, where they are talking about not only about this green energy or the so-called environmental protections and all these things, because that is also, again I tell you that it is good. I mean, I am not saying that environmental degradation has happened over the years because of so many factors, but you can't pinpoint after 50 years that, okay, we industrialized nations of Europe and America, we have developed, we have everything, so we don't want now this kind of a pollution, because we have done enough pollution. So it is not your right to do pollution, to develop yourself. Basically, I would not say the pollution. So it is the kind of developing countries like, say, India, Africa, Latin America, which are at the forefront of this brunt of so-called this green environmental push and all these agendas which is going into the name of environment. It is not 100% environment, because if you see the proponents of all these green agendas are the rich people or the rich proponents who have achieved everything, or who have got all the things in life, and now they don't want that the countries, poor countries like India, America, Latin America, Africa, or say Eastern Europe, those people, they should not be developing. I mean, it is a hypocrisy at the highest level. In the same way, so this is also a leftist agenda. Mind well, this is a very well, this green, in the name of green, they are usurping this agenda of the world, development agenda of the world. In the same series, you saw that COVID happened, and Joe Biden won the presidency, and post his presidency is talked about not only about this pushing this environmental and all this agendas, but also about taxing of this so-called multinational companies at a minimum level, some tax rates, because these companies always, they somehow manage their taxes, or they show that their profitability and distribution in such a way that they end up not paying tax in any of the countries. So there is also a push about that there should be a minimum taxation on this so-called this multinational global and particularly digital companies like, say, Google, Amazon, and Facebooks, and all these new technology companies. So basically, this is also one of the agenda where they are talking about putting 15% of this minimum tax on this kind of a multinational or the digital companies or technology companies, basically, which end up paying no tax anywhere in the world. So there will be a minimum, there should be a minimum global tax, it's called. So that is the second agenda they pushed. Now with the infrastructure push in this infrastructure bill, which is passed by this USA, it's $1 trillion worth of this bill. So definitely that will push the demand for that metals, steel, commodities, because of road construction, rail construction, terminal construction, or this new solar things, or overall this social spending. But how it will be funded, at the end of the day, everything has to be funded. Like if I'm saying that I'm going to travel, and I'm making this video. So I'm making this video because I want that, okay, it should reach to the maximum people, where I can share my thoughts, and where I can bring it to the level for the benefit of the overall, say, the investors and the market. So, but at the end of the day, it is, even whatever I am spending, it has to come from somewhere, right? So that is through this subscribers fees, or this my like premium video which I come out with occasionally with the multi-bagger stock ideas. So that very nominal fees I charge, because it has to come where, right? There has to be some revenue stream for me to survive, for me to come out with research, for me to go around and undertake this travel, and to meet and make up. All this is time consuming, and also this money spending. So why I'm telling is that you need to have a revenue source for doing anything. So it is to be business oriented, right? Anything in the world. If it is not business oriented, or if it is not money oriented in a way, it ends up losing everything, and it ends up not doing anything in the end it's closes down, so it's of no benefit. So what this infrastructure bill in USA will end up is increasing the taxes. That is what the third agenda you can please keep in mind. If you remember, I had 1 year before, I think yeah, more than yeah, 1 year before I had come out that all this spending by USA and by stimulus and distributing money, social welfare and all these things, nothing is going to come free. So it will end up ultimately in the pockets it will be take up from the pockets of the tax payers, and ultimately the tax rates will rise, and it will actually harm the economy more than actually boost up the economy. So this is what it is going to happen. The same way it will be end up with the increasing of the overall average tax rate on individual as well as the corporates. So earnings of the corporates will definitely be adversely impacted, and this is the phenomena which is going to be repeated, and this is not good for the stock market. As you know, your earnings come down and tax rates go. It even gives a negative signal. So ultimately, this is not going to help the economy or the market in short. And as I told you, that sanity has to come. So that way also, if this will bring the sanity to the market, so be it. What can be done? Everybody is waiting for that sanity to return to the market, because the greed of the investors is taking market to the new heights without any fundamental backup of that kind of a crazy valuation. Because at the end of the day, valuation also matters. I won't buy a particular thing which is worth say $10. I may buy for $10 to $12 to $15, but I am not going to buy it at $40, $50. So that is what I will wait for sanity to return, and demand supply to mismatch to balance. In the same way, what is happening in the market is I don't want to talk about all this new tech IPO in the name of this venture capitalist IPO which are coming into India. Basically, the Indian market is getting into this investors' greed is running ahead of the fundamentals. That's what is happening in the Indian market, and that is why all this greed, because where there is greed, always the fraudsters will thrive. That is a saying. In Gujarati, there is a saying said that "Lobio hoy tyan dutara bhukhe na mare," means where there are greedy people, then the fraudsters or the scamsters will always thrive and will thrive and will prosper because of the greed of those greedy people, miser people, basically. The same thing is happening. All this so-called unviable business, uneconomical, or not business, I would say, but these ideas are getting into IPO, and they are raising huge money in $2 billion, $1 billion, and it's going crazy. Where there is no business revenue, there is no profitability, and how you are going to end up doing this particular investing into these kind of businesses. You look at Uber, you look at Ola, you look at any of this Airbnb, all these companies of the world which are venture capitalist backed and so-called startup ideas, started ideas, it had ended up doing nothing even in 3, 4, 5 years. You see that they all burnt money and nobody has made money. So how one can even think about investing into such kind of dud or what do you call such kind of IPOs? Because it is not IPO. There's a half of this. If you look at all these new tech startup IPOs, more than 50% of IPO is for OFS. OFS is offer for sale. So it is not for the new. It is the existing investors into these companies. They are selling their portfolio or their share and giving it to you in IPO. So it is not going to the company's growth. It is not going for the company. So this is a dangerous thing. This is one indicator which you should understand, that this is all that exit this kind of IPOs like Paytm and MobiKwik and Paylist Bazaar and all this kind of IPO. They are just IPO to give exit route to the existing their venture capitalists and investors, primary investors who had invested in their company long time back. It's not for the benefit of the company, or it's not for this thing. It's a very very dangerous signal. But as I have been telling, and I don't want to repeat time and again about the futility of investing into, because it is the greed of the investors which is attracting them to put money into this kind of businesses. When you have a at least a 200 super earning, super valuation kind of a company with a futuristic growth, that is where you are more than 200 companies you can definitely find any day in any market. So that's it from my side. I just wanted to discuss this kind of a situation that leftist agenda is taking over all over the world, and it is not good for the economy, it's not good for the market, and that's what it is going to happen. What has happened in the USA, it's ultimately it will harm the earnings and the corporates and the market, because when the earnings is because of the increase in tax rate, which I foresee that it is going to happen. So please, if you like this video, you please put a like, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, you please subscribe and share it with your maximum friends, so that maximum people, if it is subscribed, it gets propagated more and more people get benefited. That's it from my side, and ciao from Neeraj from Moscow. Love you all, and happy Diwali, Saal Mubarak once again.